Do you think it would be beneficial to raise children as like people, like a gender neutral people, rather than boys and girls, of like making them feel different, making them feel separate? Do you feel that the things you learned there were like valuable enough to like outweigh? Personally, I don't feel like it does a lot of harm for trans women to coexist with cis women in women's spaces, but like you have said that in videos occasionally. So I guess I'm curious if you feel like you've learned valuable lessons that you're able to like then take on to other people. What's your relation with that now?
I guess it did cause me to sit there and kind of analyze myself in relation to the women that were there. And I did learn in being in women's spaces how loving and accepting women can be. Women were far more accepting of me in my trans identity than men were, by far. Yeah, I had lots of women acquaintances and things that fully welcomed and accepted me. And in those women's circles, I feel like I took away an understanding of some of the struggles that cis women are dealing with as it compares to my own struggles as a trans woman and what I was feeling at the time and how I related myself to them, and being in their presence, feeling like, oh yeah, I belong here, this feels right. But at the same time, most of them had experiences where men had wronged them or raped them or harmed them physically, and I didn't have that, so I couldn't relate that way. And so it was an interesting thing to try to navigate psychologically how much of me is a woman, how much.
Well, I don't think womanhood is built on sexual violence, though. I just want to clarify that not all women, I think it's the majority of them, but not all women do experience that. So would you say that they're less women than other women that have done that?
No, I wouldn't think so. Recently I went to a men's retreat, and part of it was initiating me as a man, and that culturally men have in history been initiated. Women tend to get their initiation through giving childbirth, and some women don't ever have children. And so yeah, as far as defining what makes a woman or at what point she becomes a woman or becomes initiated into womanhood, as opposed to a trans woman who lived life as male and then tries to become a woman, and whether you can ever become the same as a woman who has always lived a woman, it's...
Well, nobody's saying that it's the same experience, but it's like more similar, I guess. And like, I feel like the more you live as a woman, the more woman experiences you get. I agree with you. Like, I most recently watched your reacting to your coming out video, and like in your coming out video, you say like, oh, you look at old pictures of me, and you know that you just need to say she, her, like, and you're like, no, that's a man, that was always a man, blah blah blah. And like, I agree with you that like, well, okay, what I don't agree with is that man and woman are like stagnant, right? Like you said, people are fluid. You know, sometimes you will be a man, sometimes you will be a woman, sometimes you'll be a boy, sometimes you'll be a girl, right? Like, these are all different social roles that mean different things, right? Like, you're not born a man, you're born a baby, right? Like, babies are babies, they're not men. You're not a woman, you're a baby. And then you're a boy or a girl, which are both social, right? And like, maybe you're lucky enough. Okay, that was another question I had. Sorry, I know I definitely just jumped on here, but do you think it would be beneficial to raise children as like people, like a gender neutral people, rather than boys and girls, of like making them feel different, making them feel separate?
I think it's only been in like recent couple hundred years or something of human existence that we've so strongly felt this need to go man and woman and find out what the roles are, to define those roles. And I often think of the concept, if you were born on an island and you had nothing whatsoever to influence you, you had no boys or girls to look at to compare yourself to, you were born either in a boy's or a female body, you would grow up just being a person. You would have nothing to compare yourself to, no way to understand what the differences are between male and female because you've never been exposed to it. Whereas we live in a society where the instant you're born, you're either given a blue birthday cake or a pink birthday cake, depending on whether you're boy or girl. You're given these toys that match your apparent gender. And I've always hated to see that. That always bothered me, especially when I was living as trans, because I thought that was absolutely criminal to assign a baby a gender before they told you what their gender was.
Yeah, it's like you're assigning their future. You're assigning the rest of their life for them.
And I think that plays a lot into it when you start raising a boy like I was. You are a boy, boys do this is how you do it. And then if there are any of those feminine feelings that come up, we are humans. I should have been able to express my femininity and it shouldn't have been a problem. And had I been
Yeah.
able to do that, I might have been just a Emmy man, and I might have felt okay with it without having to go full on surgery, get a vagina to feel like I'm fully woman.